Hello guys, my name is Richmond and I welcome you back to the RichTech channel. In our previous tutorial concerning structured programming, we spoke about a program, who a programmer was, and what programming means. Okay, we also talked about the software development cycle. So if you missed that particular tutorial, I have the link in the description below. You can go there and get that video watched. Before we get into what we'll be discussing today, which is algorithms and then types of programming errors, if you're a new viewer, as usual, I would like you to subscribe to this channel so that you get more educative content from this particular channel. And also, after this tutorial, if you learn anything new, you can give a like to encourage me to do more videos of this kind. So let's get into today's tutorial. First thing we are going to talk about is an algorithm. An algorithm is a logical sequence of written instructions to solve a particular problem. Now, in our previous tutorial, we said a program was just a set of instructions written to solve a problem. But here in this case, algorithms shouldn't be just set of instructions. These set of instructions should have a logical sequence. So we should get the difference over there. The next thing we are going to talk about is the properties of algorithm. So these are things a program should contain to be an algorithm. So whenever you are writing any set of instructions to solve a particular problem, it should contain the following properties. The first one is finiteness. Okay, your algorithm should be capable of producing the required output. Okay, so for instance, if you are writing an algorithm which finds the average age of students in a particular class, your algorithm should be able to do so. Okay, it should be able to find the right average age of the students in that particular class. If not, then that is not an algorithm. The next thing is definiteness. All instructions should be precise and not to give room for ambiguities. Okay, so your algorithm should also follow the, or should also contain the definiteness property. The next one, which is really important, is the generality of your algorithm. The instructions should be capable of solving all problems of a particular type or class. So for instance, if you are writing an algorithm which is going to find the factorial of a given number, it should be able to do so in the sense that whenever it's given any number at all, it will be able to find its factorial. If your algorithm is able to find the factorial of a particular number and then it's not able to find a factorial of another number, then that particular algorithm is not right, or it's not an algorithm at all. Okay, so your algorithm should contain the generality property. The next property I'm going to talk about is the effectiveness of your algorithm. All instructions should be basic and capable of being performed mechanically within a finite amount of time or a specific amount of time. Okay, so your algorithm should also contain that. And the last thing I'm going to talk about under the properties is your algorithm being able to have input and output capabilities. Okay, so the algorithm should be able to accept data as input, process that data based on the instructions you've given, and also give a required output. Okay, so those are the input and then output capabilities of your algorithm. It should contain that as well. So moving on, we are going to talk about some types of programming errors. Okay, so these are errors we encounter or we face during programming or writing algorithms. The first one is a syntax error. So this is a really basic error most of us do as programmers. Okay, this is the violation of the programming rules. So if you are writing a particular program to solve a problem, whether in C++ or Python, no matter the programming language, it has rules governing it. Okay, so for instance, in C++, if you are writing a code or some set of instructions, we all know that each line of code, at the end of every line of code, you should have a semicolon. Okay, so if there is no semicolon, then that means you violated the rules of programming. That is for C++. So that becomes a syntax error. Okay, so take note of that. And with syntax error, the compilers mostly identify them. So sometimes you see the red, highlight highlighted part of the program indicating the syntax error for you. Okay, so the next type of error I'm going to talk about is the logical error, which is as a result of one's reasoning. Earlier on, we said that algorithms are logical sequence of instructions written to solve a particular problem. So, it's not just any set of instructions we are writing them in a logical way in order to get the required output. So for instance, if you are writing an algorithm to find the sum of two given numbers, and then your algorithm is not able to find the sum, but then finding something else, let's say the difference of those numbers, then you have a logical error. You are not having any programming rule violated, hence you are not having any syntax error in your code, but then the code is still not able to come up with the required output. This means there is a logical error in your code. Okay, so you have to check it yourself as a programmer and find that error. These are errors that are not detected by the compiler, so it's only the programmer that can identify these type of errors. Okay, the last type of error I'm going to talk about is the runtime error, which occurs when a program is syntactically correct. Okay, so you've not violated any programming rule, but then it occurs during execution of the program. Okay, so some of the messages you receive during this type of errors is device timeout, subscript out of range, illegal function call, or overflow. Okay, so these are the type of messages you receive during the runtime error. Okay, so this brings us to the end of our lesson today. But before we close, let's do a brief recap. Now, we started with algorithms, and we said algorithms are logical sequence of instructions written to solve a particular problem. We spoke about some properties of algorithms, things algorithms should possess. We spoke about the generality, which was one of the most important things. We said that the generality is when your algorithm is able to solve all types of problems in a particular class. Okay, so for instance, if you are writing an algorithm to find the factorial of numbers, it should be able to find the factorial of any given number. We also spoke about the finiteness of the algorithm, the definiteness, the effectiveness of the algorithm, and also your algorithm having input and output capabilities. Okay, your algorithm should be able to receive inputs, work with the inputs, and come up with the right output or the required output. So we also spoke about the types of programming errors. We said as we program or as we write these algorithms, we are going to come up with some errors, and these errors are one, syntax error. We said that the syntax error is when you violate the programming rule, and these errors are mostly identified by the compilers. Okay, And the next type of error was the logical error, which is as a result of one's reasoning. You, the programmer, if you don't write your program in a logical way, you actually encounter these types of errors, which is not identified by the compiler. So it's you, the programmer, that has to identify these errors and correct them. And the last type of error is the runtime error, which we said it occurs during execution of your program. Okay, and you receive some kind of messages such as device timeout, illegal function call, overflow, subscript out of range. So these are the things we discussed today, and I hope you learned something. If you actually learned something new today, I would be very happy if you give a like to this video. And then if you have any question, you can put it down in the comment section, and then I will attend to you as soon as possible. Thank you again, and in our next video or in our next tutorial, we'll be talking about what goes into writing algorithms. And the first thing we'll be talking about in there is the variables. So stay tuned, turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first person to receive it when I release it. Thank you. Bye. Bye bye.